Hey,
We're back.
we're back.
Get your little arrow on your head.
Here we go.
It's like, put it on my nose.
It didn't ding for some reason. Usually it goes ding, ding,
Ding,
ding, and
ding.
then you know it's starting, but it didn't ding. So anyway, but guess what we did yesterday? My husband and I. We went to the sportsman show in Richmond.
Oh.
It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Of course, Saturday didn't work out.
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah.
So we went yesterday.
Mhm.
And usually it's not something probably that's like on my bucket list, and I go, hey, mark this on the calendar because we have to go. But usually he likes going out to the one in Raleigh too, but we wanted to try this one. So I thought about you while we were up there because it was just really interesting. We sat in on a chef that was showing how to butcher meat properly.
Oh, yes, that would be a good one.
Yes, and then of course we did a couple of fishing, looked at some and talked to some fishing people and got some good techniques and stuff. But then we were just walking around, but I was thinking about you because your boar hunt will be coming up soon, huh?
Yes, September.
And they kept every place that we went up to, they were like, oh well, if you go out hunting this, and I'm thinking, no, you don't understand.
I'm just sitting in on this.
I'm just here. I don't, no. I mean, they were like, do you fish or hunt? I'm like, I fish.
I like
but
to
I don't
fish.
hunt. But I don't hunt. But, it was, but I told Bubba, I said, what was interesting to me is that, of course, there were some places that definitely had the women that hunt, I guess, as much or as more than the men and enjoyed it as much. And that would be okay, but yeah.
I just, basically, I just go because I like being in the woods and I like food. And the boar, there's so many of them.
Now, where do y'all go down south?
We're going to Tennessee.
Okay.
That's where we've gone for 2 other hunts.
So you're glamping place.
Yes, I am. And the boar meat that we got at Spartan, which is where we're going again, superb.
Mm-hmm.
I took out ground. You can have it just ground up like a sausage. So I got a mild sausage. And I took one out, I can't remember one day last week. See, it's not November, but like the last one. This is still August. Anyway, it was so lean. It was leaner than any ground beef. There was
it's so good.
No fat in it at all. And of course, my Italian heritage says we need Italian sausage, not just sausage. So I have the fennel.
I was going to say fennel's got
you got the fennel and the rosemary and the basil and the oregano and a little paprika. I couldn't quite figure out the paprika, but I put it in because that's what the recipe called for. And what else? Oh, a little bit of garlic. And I just grated cheese. I put grated cheese because this is so lean. It just crumbles apart. And I had it with a little bit of onions and peppers. And I made like little meatballs, patties with it. It was very good.
Now, do you go in the fall?
We're going, yes, in September.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. You went in the
Monday,
fall.
Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll go on a Monday, hunt on Tuesday, and probably come back on Wednesday. Yeah.
They're going to kill on Tuesday.
More than likely.
Mm-hmm.
But I've still got some from last year that we finally got apart from the freezer, coming apart, that I'm going to give away to some people. If you'd like a roast, I can give you a roast because one of the women at church, I gave her a boar roast, and she put it in a clay ceramic, not a ceramic, but a cured clay pot, like a Tuscan pot, and put it on the lowest temperature she said she could at her oven. And she cooked it all day, and it just fell apart. And she called it a boar-barbecue. I loved it. She said, and I made boar-barbecue. So I've got to take, because we got the fresh coming in.
So how many did you get to kill?
One apiece. We can, one apiece. You could kill more, but I don't know if you want to pay for that much. And yeah, does it get a little expensive? But everything as far as food now is expensive.
Well, it is, but you know what you're killing.
I know what it is. I know what the meat tastes like.
Now, do you field dress it and all that stuff yourself? Or do
No, they do all of that.
So it's kind of like picking out a lobster then in a
Exactly.
in a case.
I'll
Except
take that
this
one.
and then okay, I got it.
Okay, well, I missed the bigger one because I didn't have the safety all the way off because I had a new rifle and I had been practicing with the rifle and I knew that it was very accurate for the rifle that I had because I knocked the target off at the farthest target at Arrowhead and I had to put it back on. I'm like, whoa, one shot, knocked it off. Oh, right, this is good. We'll stop there. Always stop when you're ahead because you don't want to screw up what you've already done. So
I'm gonna have to go boar hunting with you one year.
You know what? The place where we go, you can bring people with you and they don't have to pay anything if they're not hunting.
No, I would want to kill it.
Oh, then
I would
by
want
all
to
means,
kill it.
I mean, that would be fun because
that would be what a girl's trip. We went boar hunting.
We went boar hunting. We're going boar hunting. We're going to have barbecue for dinner. But I will bring you, and I'm going to give her more, and I don't know how much sausage we have left, but we have to share. And I do when
you say you have to share, you share it there, or you share when
I
you get
share
back?
when I get home. If people want it,
Yes,
I give it to them.
have.
And I'm going to drop off. I don't know how many roasts I have left in the freezer, but we've got the new pile coming, so we got to get rid of the old. And people can eat it. It's good.
Well, it was interesting to me to watch the chef butcher this deer.
Mm-hmm.
And because, he was naming all the parts and he was like, the one thing he explained is he said, once you learn the muscle groups and how it's set up, he said, it's pretty much the same thing on every animal.
That's right.
But it's going to look differently. Because on the deer that he did, of course, a deer is usually a small animal.
Yep.
So when you get the tri-tip off of a deer, you may have to save like 4 or 5 deer or whatever, or get them from 4 or 5 deer before you really get anything, because it's not going to be very big.
Right.
But if you get it on a bull elk,
that's going to be huge. Yes,
it's going to be. And so I'm sure it's the same thing with a boar. I mean, and like he was talking about, the deer legs are longer and leaner.
Yep.
But a boar is going to be shorter and squatty. Hello.
Exactly.
So the meat is it's all going to be there and stuff, but it's going to be, the bones are going to be different. And so it was interesting from that standpoint because I had gotten to the point where I've not been able to eat deer meat the last couple of years. And I'm not sure exactly what the problem is, but I told him, I said, the way things are going and the way they want to shut things down. And I had just heard that they did something with some wheat or something overseas. And anyway, it's just the way things are going and stuff. If you don't have your own source of food, you're going to need something.
Yep.
And, we're old school enough to where, he's the hunter, but I've helped him prepare it before. And I remember when we were first married and stuff, we'd bring it in the kitchen.
That's
and
right.
There you are. But this guy was, he was actually giving good tips about, there's some things you don't do if you can, if possible, until 24 hours after, because it helps with the meat and stuff.
That's right. You actually need to put it so it cures a little bit.
So it's I think that's you. But anyway, so it's really interesting.
He's calling me. I'm on a podcast. I will send him a text.
I think it's really interesting to learn. See, that's something I'm interested in learning. So even if I don't go kill it, but I think just sitting up in your glamping place, I think I could do that. If my husband had me a glamping place to go hunting, I would go hunting. But see, I don't go hunting just to go sit in the woods. No,
I know.
I can turn a wood scene on the TV. I can have the crickets going and close my eyes, and I can feel, and then I'm not buggy, itchy. And I didn't have to get up, but yeah.
Now and the meat. Now I did the hock, the pork hock.
Okay.
And from a boar, you get a 350-pound forehead. That's a huge piece. Well, finding something to cook it in is the biggest problem. But the meat is delicious.
But did you, I mean, you saved it in that big, you didn't cut it down into anything else or
No,
anything?
they don't cut it up.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just telling him there's no problem.
Do you cut it up yourself?
We did not. We opted to, the first year we came back, we brought it back and had it locally done. And when they do it locally, they add the fat. And the only problem is you don't really know where the fat's coming from and how long it's been hanging around. Because I didn't quite like the flavor or the odor of that boar. I have a very sensitive nose. And if it doesn't get past my nose, it doesn't get into my mouth. You know, that's a problem
No,
I have.
get it.
But these, we decided to pay for it to be butchered. Now, it's not the same place. They have their own butchers. It's not their own butchers, but it's a group that
Right.
does it for
For them.
They will do that.
Mhm.
And we paid for it, and it was all packaged and semi-frozen. Same day.
That's good.
Same day. And then the next morning, packed it up in our coolers with ice and brought it home and then put it in the freezer. And it was partially.
How many coolers does it take to bring it all
We
back
brought
in?
3 just in case, and we used 2. So we have
So
an extra one.
one-
So if you'd like to go, we got an extra big one.
I might go boar hunting
Oh,
this
it
year.
would be fun. It is, we saved up to go because it's our anniversary type.
Oh, well, I ain't going on no anniversary.
Well, that's
weekend.
okay. It doesn't matter. We go boar hunting. We go hunting. Doesn't matter who goes hunting with us. And it's fine with us. So
The things we do for love.
I know it's fun. When I do it and I have the picture taken, I think I've mentioned it before to other people, they usually, if it's a good sized boar, they always take a picture of what you've gotten, what you've shot. So I put my hand on it, and what I am saying is thank you, Lord, for giving me this, and I will share it. Because it's food.
Well, my husband, he's always studied the Native Indians and stuff, Native Americans and all, and that's one of the things that they always, because this is a life for a life, because it's giving it's trading its life.
Trading. Yes. John's was about, his was about 500 pounds. And I think his had a little bit more fat. And when you get the pork loin, which is the tenderloin, it's that tender part. I thought it was a little package. I took it out. It's just 2 huge things because it's a boar. With a deer is a little tiny thing. You got little medallions that you cut up. But this, they're big. So when they freeze them as pork loin, you've got pork loin. Now, the one woman who I gave the roast to, she said what she will do is she has an injector and she'll inject it with stuff. So you've got, because it's dry, there's no fat to it. I took the pork loin and I marinated it and then I broiled it. And we decided that not much. Not much. It's surprising because they're always moving around in the woods. It's like they're not really fat. So
that's what I keep trying to tell people. I'm
around in the woods.
I'm not really fatty fat. I just look it. I
got a lot of muscle.
The boar looks like he'd be fatty.
Yeah, but they are. Domestic more, but not these guys. And we decided the next time I do that to melt some butter and just dip it in that butter. Like, ooh.
Did you get bacon or anything?
I'm going to this year.
Because you could do one hog and do something, right? And then do a boar and do another.
And the bacon is the, what is it they call it?
Because you can do pancetta and stuff too.
And our son, did you get this? Okay, we'll get it for you. And then you get to cook it. You get to he should be a chef because he does love to cook. So.
But I thought about you yesterday when they were butchering and doing, and plus just the hunting show itself, and when they were talking about and asking you, and I would just go, thank you.
Oh.
But like I said, I need glamping situation to.
Oh, this is, yeah.
Glunting. I need glunting.
Yeah. And it is, I'm curious to see what they added to these. I think they really sort of, I'll be honest. I will walk through the woods. I like to walk. I will carry a gun, But if you're going to put me in a nice comfy chair, sitting through a window that I can see them coming up, and I've got a nice, I'll sit there. If I don't
Like
have
I
to
said,
haul through the woods,
it's like getting a lobster out of a.
getting a
Right,
lobster, it's
I
like
like that one. And
shooting
it
it,
just, but then you're just doing it yourself.
shooting at fish in a tub. So, I'll take that one. Boom.
I just think it's really cool, but yeah, it's interesting, and I do feel like, our generation is prepared for some of this, but I don't know about the younger generation, if they're prepared to kill their own, butcher their own.
I know my daughter's husband does a lot of, he loves to hunt, he loves that. She never would touch venison, and now she'll have, do you want venison meatballs? I'm like, yeah, this is the same one. Yep. And it is good. And I'm going to have to take out another roast and do something else with it and make barbecue.
Do you hunt deer at your place?
John has, yeah, he usually gets one a year.
Okay.
Yeah, we get that. In fact, we got one, and what I did with that, we did a lot of ground. I ground it up so that I can make some. I think I made some just plain ground venison, and then I did Italian sausage.
But everything is in the processing, because you can taint the meat.
You got it,
You can
yeah.
ruin the meat because you've got glands, which I know a lot of women don't like this stuff. This part does interest me.
You've got
The
to cut
butchering and
things off
everything is-
right
yes.
away.
I mean, my husband taught me how to build dress and stuff
Yep.
like that. I hadn't done it in a long time, but he did bring the meat in, and we used to cut it off the bone and get it, and then package
Debone it,
it.
yeah, yep.
And then of course, you've got to get the sinew off and the
Yep,
silver.
you just
I mean,
get
it's
all,
the fascia and all this.
yep, get all
there's
that
a lot
pieces
of
off.
stuff.
And we used to, when we did a lot of it, I would take large buckets of salt water and I'd throw it in there, because you're sort of curing it a little bit, and all the hair floats up. Because in the wintertime, the deer hair is hollow, so they'll float up and come off. A lot of it comes off, and they're hollow because the insulation, it gives them insulation. So that's, and we've done that. We've done that. And you have to know that you can't go oops with an intestinal tract.
No.
And I have, with the background that I've had in science and dissecting things, you sort of know, we get this all out first.
Mhm.
That's called the alimentary canal. It starts from your mouth and it goes all the way down to the other
And then it
end.
also probably helps you, so you're more selective too, to where you shoot the deer, so that you don't have
Yes.
so much issue.
That's right. You do not want to gut shot them,
Mm-mm.
because that's so. And with a boar, you've got to use a certain size caliber,
Oh, okay.
because their bones are they're dense, and they have these heavy, like, shieldy areas in their head. So you have to be strategic where you hit them, and it's usually where their leg is up in that one little corner where a heart shot.
So the one thing before we have to get off of here, just tell me, how did you get into boar hunting?
Friends of ours they've gone on safaris and everything. They said, would you like to go on a boar hunt? Now, I don't particularly shoot deer. Okay, I don't do it. It's like shooting Bambi.
No, it's not.
See,
They're evil. They're evil.
well, they are. They eat a lot of my apples. I really should shoot
And
them.
they hurt a lot of vehicles. But anyway,
Yes,
that's
anyway,
beside the
yes.
point.
Anyway,
Bambi.
so I didn't really want to shoot Bambi, and I won't hunt bear. But a boar, yeah, because they are really destructive.
They are. And that's
Very
why,
destructive. And they're out there just run. They adapt to it very easily. They'll come in town if they could, and they can be very dangerous, and they're really ugly. See, they don't look nice. So I like pork.
What about Porky Pig? A boar is different though.
It is different, and even domestic, if they go wild, they're the same thing, because basically with the one I shot it probably came from some mixed wild boar with a domestic boar, because they all end up looking the same eventually once they go native.
Mm.
They revert back, they go native. Now, tusks. So I said, yeah, I'll boar hunt.
All right. That's a cool story. You just never know what this one's going to be doing.
Probably not. Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to be doing.
Well, it was good to see you. It was
Yes.
good to be with all y'all, and I hope that you have a good week and
That's right.
a good day. And
Tune
it is
in.
August.
It is
Monday.
Been a long weekend. Busy weekend.
I've had those days. Yes.
Yeah, it was almost like
I've had
toasted.
those days that is like, what? I don't even know my own name. It's like, wait a minute, what?
Say, what?
Okay.
Are you're talking to me?
Or somebody will ask me what the birth dates are of my grandkids, and I'm like, wait a minute. I gotta stop and think. And they're,
I don't
what?
write them down. It's like, okay, this one is
Dates I'm good with is the
October
year.
3, October 6, January. What is my birthday? Good thing mine's on a holiday.
Well, they simplified mine. 2 in July, 3 in November. As long as I send a card.
That makes I've got 2 in October, one in August, 2 in January.
I just can't remember the year all the time that they were born. I have to subtract back. But I can get the date.
It's true. I go by things that have occurred. Hip replaced, twins were born. They'll be 4. That was 4 years ago.
There you go. The things we do to remember. You just have to, you have to associate. All right, see y'all later.
Right. So